Yeah, that's how Pepsi became the 6th largest navy in the world.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, let's start with that. Go. Talking about Pepsi owning the 6th largest navy.
I want to make sure it's right. I think it was 6th.
Yeah, so you told me a story. It was that Pepsi was... Were they selling Pepsi to Russia? Like just pop?
Yeah, so there was a big-ass embargo type thing before... let me just make sure I'm saying this right. I think it was Cold War and everything too. But... so what happened was Soviets and everything too, all that was coming down, and they wanted to start having Pepsi products over in Russia, and they're like, all right, well, we'll do a contract and everything too, and there was some outrageously big deal, and Russia pretty much said, we don't have any money, but we've been stockpiling for years for this war that never happened. We have I want to see how many, but I want to see multiple warships. Multiple aircraft carriers, more like submarines, everything. They gave the Pepsi. Pepsi was like, yeah, we'll take that. And we'll take that. Yeah. And Pepsi was 100% set. Yeah. How Pepsi briefly became the sixth largest military in the world.
What the? When was that?
God, this is a terrible website. Let me go back. I'm sorry.
You're good.
It was an insider one. It's an actual deal.
If I'm gonna guess after the Cold War, I'm gonna guess it probably happened 88 to 93.
See that?
I'm guessing it's somewhere in there.
89.
89. Boom! I was close. Right on. That's fucking crazy. Could you imagine just selling pop and then one day, boom, military?
I mean, if I was that salesman, that diplomat over there talking to those guys or whatever, I wouldn't even call the boss and ask if that's a good deal. He'd be like, we have all these warships for this.
We're just making that deal, yeah.
Yes.
100%.
I will explain this to the boss.
Yeah, I'll figure out a way to make him see eye to eye. Yeah. But we're taking that.
I will sell these off individually. We will make profit off of these, I promise.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. So I figured we'd just go down just 2 people this week. We'll see if Paul go back next week. Felt like I was bugging him 3 weeks in a row. But we'll see if he wants to back in on it next week. It seems like people liked that one.
Yeah, you never
there's more of us.
No,
you're good. I know. You're constantly asking me, hey, when are we doing this?
When's the next one? Let's do this.
So I wanted to talk about my UFO.
Yeah, you had an encounter with
I did. So it was, what's today, Thursday?
Yes.
Tuesday night. It was 11:30, and I was getting ready to go to bed, and I went out into the porch because I like looking at the stars. It's cool. So I'm always constantly looking up at night just to look at stars. And I'm looking out, and I see this one light. It's brighter than the rest, and it's it's changing colors, but really quickly, and not
a flicker though?
Yeah, like a flicker. It's flickering, and it's flickering different colors. It'll be mostly white, and then there'll be some blues and some reds in there, but enough that you can see there was the color change, but it's not one of those colors that lasts, it slowly transitions to red and then to blue. It's just a quick flickering. And it's 11 o'clock, and I'm out there and I'm watching it for probably about 15-20 minutes, and it hasn't moved from its spot in the sky. And I start seeing other planes just flying through the sky, and they're doing their flickering red light with white light, whatever. And I'm like, all right, so it's not a plane because it's been at this point a half an hour, and I've seen other planes moving to compare it to around there. It's not a plane, it's not a helicopter because it's just standing there and I don't hear anything. And it was a clear, quiet night, so I would have assumed heard something. So I texted you. It's midnight at this point. I texted you.
I texted you 11:30 you up, and I saw that at 5 in the morning, and I just texted you back, yeah, what's up? At 5 in the morning.
Yeah. I texted you. I texted my sister. I texted Paco, and Paco got back to me at 11:30. He was at the gym, and he was I I told him, and he goes, where? I'm like, it's in the western sky. And I guess he walked outside of the gym, looked up, and he goes, yeah, I can see that light too. I don't know what it is. That's weird. Well, I got James to respond, and he called me, and I could tell, because he video called me, I could tell he was like about to pass out. And he's like wiping fucking sleep from his eyes, and I see him zipping up a coat, and this man goes outside, and he looks up, and I'm like, look in your western sky, and he's down in like Ottumwa.
Yeah, like always away.
Yeah, he's away. Yeah,
45 minutes.
Yeah, right around there. He looks up and he goes, yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm like, James, at this point, it's been 45 minutes and this thing hasn't moved. And Pocket texts me and goes, what about your telescope? Up until this point, completely forgot I had a telescope.
Oh, yeah.
I have one of those nice telescopes. So it's got 3 lenses. It's got a 10, a 20, and then it has another lens that doubles the magnification of whatever lens you put in it. So if it's a 10, it'll double it to 20. If it's 20, it'll double it to 40. So you can get really close on it. So I throw my telescope up, and I throw in the 10 millimeter, and I'm looking at it, and it just looks like it's definitely like in space, because I'm just looking out into nothing of the sky, and I'm seeing other stars, and I get over there and I'm looking at it, and it just looks like an orb of just white, but it wasn't like paper white. It was the best way I can describe it is like, think of a white crystal color that has light shooting through it, so you get the rainbow effects on the edges.
Pearl white with all the...
Yeah, kind of like a pearl light, but really bright, and it was like flamey, like on the edges, like it moved like flames would move. Didn't look like it was on fire. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. Maybe it's a star. No, you're good. I'm like, it's probably a star. So I throw in the 20, and I'm looking at it, and hold on, let me see if I can draw a quick picture. I'm looking at it, and at this point, I'm so far zoomed in because I've put the double magnifier on there.
20 with 4, so it's 40.
Yeah, so I'm 40 times zoomed in on this thing, and so every time I bump it, it moves it in the telescope because I'm zoomed in so far that any slight movements, it's just farther away. Like in a gun scope, you move a little bit, it's a long way at the end. Yeah, so I'm doing that, and I get this. Like I said, I'm not able to keep it in focus for very long, but I can keep it in focus for about 3-4 seconds. And I'm looking at this thing, and this is what I saw. I told you, I sent you the picture.
Yeah.
It looked like this. Oh no, the camera turned off. All right, guys, technical difficulties. For some reason, camera quit working. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but I think I fixed it, at least for now. We'll fuck with that if we have to again. Anyway, so the audio still worked on all that, I know, but now we get to the good part. I drew a picture of what I saw. So I showed you, but like I said, I could only see it for like 3 or 4 seconds at a time, and the brief times I could, it looked like this. So that those white parts, it looked like the light was coming out of that, and then the black was like just black in between there. So I freaked out. It's like midnight. I've been looking at this thing for at least an hour. I've got one of my best friends in the Tumblr up at, he's got his telescope trying to look at it. He can't get his focused. And so I'm talking to him, and he's like, it's probably a star, or it's the ISS, or it's a satellite. So I started doing some digging. I got on, and I looked at where the ISS was, and it was going to be in the northern sky at 4 a.m., and you couldn't see it in Iowa at 11:30 midnight when I was looking there. So it wasn't the ISS. Then I looked at the planets, and none of the planets were visible at that time and in that part of the sky. I took screenshots of everything so that if my friends wanted to see that I actually looked up into this at this time, you could. So I knew it wasn't the ISS. I knew it wasn't the planets. I thought it was a satellite, so I did a search on NASA's website, and they said most of their satellites don't have lights you could see from Earth with the naked eye because they're not bright enough. I know Elon Musk's Starlink you can, but I don't think his were in the area either because I looked on that and couldn't find anything about that. And so I'm talking to James about it, and he goes, it's probably a star. And I'm like, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to what I've seen. I suppose if it's a star and you're zoomed in on, like how you look at the sun through cameras, it's like the flames on the outside of it. Yeah, I'm sure. So I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. This was Tuesday. I'm like, I'm going to wait until Wednesday. Wednesday night I'll go out around the same time and see if it's there. If it's a star, surely it'll be around the same area. I know it's directly up and to the left of Orion's belt, so I should be good. So I go out there last night to look, and it's there. It's fainter, but it's there. And I looked at it with my telescope, so I think it was a star. It wasn't a UFO. Maybe a big UFO that's just very stationary.
It's a mothership.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not ready to rule that out for certain yet, but I'd like to think it was a UFO, but it was probably just I finally got zoomed in. Found my first star. It was just really bright, and it caught my attention because it was I'd say it'd be bright. It was brighter than the plane lights that we have when you're looking at them from the ground, because it drew my attention out of all the other ones up there. And I don't know, it was weird, but it was a nice little. And I was home alone at 11:30 on Tuesday, so there was nobody else there to yell at. So I'm trying to text my friends who'd still be awake. Hey, your dumbass friend who's into conspiracies thinks he sees a UFO. Look outside. This is life changing.
This might change your mind about my views.
Yeah, this might define who you think of me. And then Paco was like, are you planning on killing yourself or running away or going missing? And I'm like, no, man, I have no plans to end my life, run away, miss work tomorrow. So if I'm not there, the FBI came and took me away. And I'd like to continue on that. I have none of those plans. So if I go missing or kill myself, that wasn't what happened.
That's not what happened.
No, not what happened at all. I don't take any medication, so if there's anything in me, I'm not on any medications.
Nope.
So I just like to cover my things. Well, I thought my story was going to be the cool alien story or the cool space story. But when I came over, you told me two. And the first one just got blown out of the water by the hurricane one.
Oh, space hurricane.
Space hurricane, yeah. I thought you were full of shit.
I don't even know all about it. I just saw it on the news. It said something about space hurricanes and then all about your Apophis and stuff. But
yeah, it sounds Apophis. Yeah. Hold on, we'll go to that. I want to talk about the space hurricane first because that just sounds made up, but it's totally true. Apparently, the article I read about it after you told me was that NASA was reviewing footage of the Earth back from 2014, and they found a hurricane in the upper atmosphere of the Earth above the North Pole. On the outside, that instead of raining, it was raining electrons of plasma into the atmosphere for 120 miles around the North Pole. And you said you saw a meme about it, and that's how you heard about it.
Yeah, it was it was on iFunny. Anyway, I had a guy on there, and I saw one on there that said something about space. It says space hurricanes, which people were like, come on, superpowers. Yeah. Electrical freak storm. But it was a space hurricane that rained electrons observed for the first time was a full-on observation of it. The spiral arm storm swirled roughly 125 miles over the North Pole, turning in place for almost 8 hours.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. And they didn't know about it until 2 days ago. And this happened in 2014. So 7 years ago is when it happened.
Yeah.
So maybe people did get superpowers. Get a full-on Homelander.
Well, yeah, because I think it happened again now.
Again?
I think that's what they were saying, it might happen again. I'm just trying to read it again.
No, you're good.
It happened years ago, but also I think it happened again, and it was C, and that's what made him see it, I think.
Well, the other thing you had for me was news about Apophis, which if you watched the last couple episodes of the podcast, what was that, episode 3, 2, something like that?
Early on.
One of the early episodes, now that we're so far deep into this.
Yeah.
One of the earlier episodes, I told you about Apophis, that asteroid. Well, apparently, I didn't know this, dumbass, was that it was flying by this week, and they're using... Do you have it? Oh, yeah. So it flew by or is flying by this week, and you could see it if you knew where to look. I didn't know where to look because I didn't know it was flapping until after. But apparently it's a 1,000-foot meteor. It's going to be back in 2029 and 2036. When they found it in 2004, they didn't have enough of its trajectory to plot where it was going to be when it came back around. And for a while, they thought of this imaginary, 1,000-mile radius. The keyhole story I told you, if you go back to the first podcast, where if it goes through that, it'll hit in 2036. Well, they have enough of its trajectory now to say it won't hit in 2029 or in 2036. It comes back after that in 2064, but they don't have enough data to say conclusively it won't hit then. So they're waiting and trying to use the information they get from this flyby and then the one in 2029 and 2036 to plot its long-term, what's going to happen, where's its trajectory going to go after 2064, which at that point I'll be like 75 years old.
Yeah, but if they knew it's coming right for the planet and there's nothing to do about it, would they tell the people? It'd be immediate.
So I don't think governments would tell people, but you can't keep astronomers out. Like, there are people, private astronomers. Yeah, and at a certain point, people are gonna know.
Yeah, but then they just like brush it away. Like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Well, there's enough amateur astronomers, and there's YouTube, like, and Google, and there's enough of those amateurs out there that they can be like, this star right here, here's its trajectory, here's how we found it, here's the tools we're using, check it yourself. This is coming for us. Maybe not as soon as the government would be able to tell you when it's happening, but I bet you'd at least get a month.
I'd hope to think that you would, but I don't know. But now listen, as this one said, you can watch online as the notorious near-Earth asteroid Apophis brushes past Earth on March 5th through 6th to 2021.
What time?
This flyby is a precursor to the close sweep Apophis will make in 2029.
Today's the 4th, so that happens Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, so this one's saying this. It says you can watch the online notorious near-Earth asteroid Apophis brushes past Earth on March 5th through 6th, 2021. So this one.
So that's tomorrow night, 5th through 6th. So by the time this podcast gets uploaded, it'll be after that. But we should totally check that out tomorrow night. Hopefully we can see it, and then we can do a podcast on seeing Apophis.
Yeah, I gotta see which direction it's gonna be though.
Yeah, we can look that all up. Yeah, we got a day. Yeah, as long as we don't forget, it'd be nice. Yeah, but fun fact: when they didn't know its trajectory and couldn't tell for sure if it was going to hit Earth in 2029 or 2036, they named it Apophis after the Greek god of world destroyers because it means like the end of everything. So if you find something that might hit Earth, you have to give it a cool name like that, I feel. Otherwise, you're going to call it Bambi.
Yeah, here comes Becky flying.
Here comes Becky, watch out.
Yeah, that was always a joke too. Like, why do you call these hurricanes these stupid names like that? I don't know, like Hurricane Katrina and stuff like that. It was like, here comes like Hurricane Death 3000, Metropolis, wherever. Like, people would probably leave that.
Yeah, you'd get out of it. You gotta quit giving it names like people.
Yeah, that was an old joke too. I didn't remember where it's from. I always loved it.
Yeah, so that's my space. Oh, no, I got one more space thing. I made you watch the videos the other day. The Pentagon's released footage of the Navy pilots capturing the UFO on military radar from the jets. So if you guys don't know about this, Rogan had a dude on there. His experience was in 2004, and you can watch the video. His doesn't have sound, but he tells the story on there, and it's he's flying his jet. It's F-16, I think. It's a military weaponized jet, and they're on their way. Him and his other jet are on their way to do war games. Like, they're just gonna go and practice shooting each other down. Well, while they're out there over the ocean, they come across a UFO, two of them, that looked like they were in a clear cube, and one was like a volleyball in a cube, and then one looked like a Tic Tac, like just a giant 300-foot metal Tic Tac. They said that on the video, because they record every time they go out. And this was released. You can go on YouTube and type in Navy UFO footage, and you can see the three videos. His video is the first one, and it's this Tic Tac thing, and they're 30,000 feet above the ocean, and there's no exhaust systems, no thrust systems that can be seen on it, so they don't know how it's moving. It's able to stay put in one spot in like 120 mile an hour or 120 knot winds. So that's some fast fucking wind, and then it can move rapidly without a sign of an exhaust system or a thruster, and just at speeds that people couldn't survive because it's outdoing our jets drastically. It went from 30,000 feet above the sea to 1,000 feet in like a second, he said. And then it actively jammed the military's radar system, so they could not get a lock on it when he was flying. That was in 2004. In 2015, the other two videos, if you go on there and look them up, have sound on it, and you can see the first one. They can get a lock on that they're targeting it, and it looks like think Saturn. So you have the planet and the rings. Just think of that like silhouette, and you got the same basic shape as this thing, and it's flying around along like this, and again, no thrusters, and they're watching it, and then it stops and it turns up like this, just straight up, and it's just hovering in the air, and they're like, what the hell? It's rotating, and then the video ends after that. And then there's another clip where you see this thing flying above the ocean, and they're above it, and they're trying to get a lock on it with their targeting thing above it, and they finally do, and this thing is just booking across the ocean, and they finally get a lock on it, and they start like celebrating that they finally got a lock on this thing. And then the dude who was on Rogan's podcast said that they talked to a bunch of commercial pilots that fly over the East Coast out by the ocean, and they see these things all the time. And like 3 days ago, there was that American Airlines transmission that American Airlines originally said they can't prove it was from an American Airlines pilot, and then came out and said, after further evidence and talking to our crew, we can confirm this was an American Airlines transmission, where the pilot was 30,000 feet up in the air and asked if they had any targets up there, because he hates to say it, but a giant solenoid Tomahawk missile looking thing just flew over them rapidly. Yeah, so don't know if it was a Tomahawk missile, don't know what it was, but it wasn't showing up on ground radar, and they seen it, and there's a bunch of pilots that have said stuff like that. So I think the aliens are coming, man. So that's my UFO talk for this week.
I'd be hopeful. I'm ready for the next step up in technology.
Do you think we get it?
I don't know. As a whole, I think we probably hold off for a bit. Yeah. Because I don't know, like we're just kind of getting the flying cars and shit, and I don't even know like the licensing process for any of that stuff. So if you just like, here's this technology, just get to the masses, I feel like there'd be some messed up shit for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to fix a bunch of problems.
There was I think it was California by like 2023 is banning all sales of gas cars.
What?
Yeah, and that's where I was unclear about, because I think what they're saying is like no more like Ford dealerships, Chevy dealerships, like brand new ones, no more brand new gas vehicles after that.
You can't sell a gas vehicle like off the lot.
That's the thing that I didn't know if they're arguing, because I didn't know if they're going to say, well, what about pre-owned cars?
I'm sure pre-owned would be fine, but I'm betting they won't, if that law passed, I'm betting they won't let new cars come off the lot, because at the same time, at some point, you have to start to phase out.
Yeah, well, Chevy and Ford and all the Jaguars by 2030, I think, wants to go all electric. Chevy's already said by like 2040, 2035, somewhere they want to be all electric. So they're trying to make those deals, but I don't know if they're trying to, because that's why I was unclear if they said like the sales of like pre-owned cars. I was like, man, that's all the used cars, the mechanics, the salesmen.
Yeah,
like just
I don't see them cutting that out, at least for a while. That'd probably be like the collector's edition of like the T-Bird. Yeah. Like you can't go and buy a brand new one, but you can buy used all you want.
Yeah, but a lot of these mechanics better start diversifying.
I think that's just like a normal thing. Like teachers had to learn how to use computers to teach us, or else they just weren't going to be working.
I know, but I just feel like the guys that already have that set down are just going to get a jump start on those other guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's how progress works in everything.
It's the way of it. Like my grandfather, he pretty much worked his way out of a job or whatever, kind of, but that was kind of his job. He was a coder for a bank and everything, and he had to take everything from the old process and make it new.
Yeah.
And he could read it and everything too. And I was just kind of like, he said that, he goes, I'm just like, I could read it, but once it's all done, like, no more jobs.
What do I need? Yeah.
It wasn't the type deal. So, but he timed it great. He got out of retirement, and just a few years after that, they were just like, done with it. So like he timed it nicely and everything. But
that's just the way of the world, man. It's new technology, and unless you can keep up, you get left behind.
Yeah, he was the only one. Like he was the only one like that branch area where it could read that code and put it into the new format or something and transform it.
That'd be a unique skill to have.
I like coding. That's just it is a completely different language, but it's like just foreign as shit. I was like looking at something like that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd like to do something like that.
That'd be cool to be able to read it and know what the hell what you're processing, reading, and what it's gonna do.
So I have one more alien thing. Okay, I didn't look into this, so I want you to see if you can find anything online. Okay, I want you to type in, I'm going to lose a lot of people here because this is usually where I quit listening to alien conspiracy theories. Reptilian. Hold on, no, don't. Yeah, I know that's where I lost a bunch of people. I had to get the word out because it just sounds ridiculous. That's why I didn't read very much into this, but it got my attention because the headline. It was a good headline, all right? So type in Japanese reptilian shot in 1818. Because apparently, from this article I read, didn't finish the actual article, let me rephrase, this headline I read, says that Japan is doing a public display of a reptilian that they shot in 1818.
Okay.
So they're displaying the remains, and the picture I seen was like an arm and like a leg.
Okay, so reptilian remains of a Japanese reptilian kappa, I guess, whatever,
Kappa?
Maybe. That was shot dead in 1818 to go to a public display. So it was, and here is a picture of the deal. If this is the correct one, it's on Reddit. Let me give you a minute. Oh, but that was it. Whatever. The arm and all that good stuff.
Yeah, show them.
Okay, 1 second. Let me get you better pictures and shit.
So I don't know if it's true. We'll have to read that article.
There's other pictures, but this is just like one.
One of the good ones.
Well, it's just the one, the arm, I guess. It won't blow it up, but either way.
No worries.
Arm. Either way, look at that. You can't see it. Shit.
Yeah, look it up. Japanese Kappa reptilian 1818. That sounds alien, but for all I know, it's an extinct animal.
Because like right here, it looks kind of like just like a monkey's paw.
Well, when you say Kappa, I want to think of like a Komodo dragon kind of thing. And that's technically, I guess, not a reptilian, it's a reptile. But
so yeah, I don't know, because it keeps on using that word, like kappa is used by parents to scare children away from water.
So it's like a water demon thing.
Yeah, I mean, they were explaining it kind of like as a wise tale type thing, but also it like has remains to it.
It's going to come out to be like a Japanese alligator or something.
Yeah.
But that was a really long limb for an alligator.
Yeah, like there's so many different hypothesis about it and theories and shit.
Does it say when and where it's going to go on display? It's got to be coming up soon for them to put a story on it. I say that, but they released Elden Ring's trailer like 5 years ago and then didn't say a word about it. Fuckers.
Sorry about your luck there, buddy.
It's very disappointing. It's George R.R. Martin's game.
This stupid damn thing would not work. Sorry, bro.
No, you're good. We can take a technical difficulty break.
But anyways, I'll get to that in a minute, but it's saying a lot of people think it was a giant salamander. A lot of people think it was, different type of reptile, dragon, like maybe a Komodo type deal. Let's go back to the deal where it's going to be displayed at.
Yeah, I'd like to know. Man, that'd be cool. Say they actually had alien remains.
Well, I bet we might even have alien.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we do. There's got to be something. I hold out hope. That Area 51 storm, I haven't been so disappointed in anything in my life as that Area 51 storming. Thousands of people said they were going, and I think 50 people showed up, and nobody stormed Area 51.
Yeah, well,
they camped. You camped outside Area 51.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening in I don't know, any part of that was that to me was we're just gonna get a whole bunch of conspiracy people, or whatever, and storm a U.S. military base. You know how stupid that sounds to me?
That sounds dumb, but then to think about it, the U.S. government then has two choices: put all those people down, or let them do it. Right. They would 100%, but you have to deal with the backlash. There would be backlash.
We done told you there's signs tear this? No.
I completely agree, but there would be backlash.
Yeah, I bet there would be, but it's not telling me time or date. Sorry, bro.
No worries. I'll see if I can dig it up later.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. No time or date on that, but we tried. We gave it a college try.
Yes. What were you saying, though, about that one?
Oh, the Area 51 storm?
Yeah, that one. The no point of that, like, planning-wise, would have thought good to me about, like, storming a military base, though. I'm sorry. It's like somebody just saying, hey, I want to get a bag of weed. Let's break into the police station and get one. No.
Yeah, when you say it like that, it sounds stupid.
No, it's not.
No.
I ain't doing that, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. I'm not, but I wouldn't say I was going to.
Now, if somebody was like, I'm not trying to put down a different country or whatever, like it did, just to me, U.S. seems a little bit more stricter on that shit too, I guess, more high tech, be able to sneak in and out of something like that. You're like, yeah, we're going to go to Mexico's military base. Like, we'd probably do that.
Automatically, I'm hopeful because it's not American.
Yeah, that's a one-up to me.
Does Canada I'm sure Canada has a military.
Yeah, they actually spy on us. Like, that's...
Canada spies on us?
So that's
awful ballsy.
That's we trade with them. So that's kind of like a big thing with us. The CIA, all of us cannot we cannot spy on you. We cannot do this, like, or anything like that. But when we sign all these deals and everything too, and all these other apps, bullshit like that, Canada can spy on us since they're allies and we're within our deal. This is not our country. It's allowed. And anyway, they spy on us, and we do the same for Canada, and we trade back and forth information. It's completely legal and within their rights to do it.
So we spy on them and then tell each other the information we found. That's a good way to find holes in your, like, cybersecurity.
That's why, like, I once said that was like the big reason why when China was trying to get access into here and everything too, like through like TikTok and like all that shit, wanted to save some information. They kind of realized, well, they knew what they were going at because we do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, you guys ain't. No.
Yeah, Huawei phones.
Yeah,
it's spelled with an H, but it's called Huawei. That was the China's phone company that they were stealing from Apple to make this company, to make the technology of the phones for this company, and then their phones were filled with Chinese spyware so that they could take whatever data was on that Huawei phone. Now the Chinese government could get on. And then TikTok was one of their apps, and that was filled with spyware. It still is, and people are still using TikTok.
Yeah, that's a big thing too.
But I mean, the government steals our information anyway.
And you know what? And I use iFunny. That's a Russian-based app.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm almost certain that's like a Russian-based app deal. But I could be way wrong, but I'm almost certain it is.
I guess I don't look into where apps came from. I'm just like, oh, I want to use this.
Yeah, it's like a good little deal too for it. And I'm trying to think, because I know like if China they got our information sent to Russia or traded whatever to any kind of information like that. I'm trying to think what the other country was because of the, like, Canada could spy us and then we can spy on Canada, but there's a third one.
Is it Great Britain?
No, I think it might be just Puerto Rico territory too.
Puerto Rico?
Well, they're like a territory of us. So.
Yeah.
I'm trying. There was like in there, maybe Mexico. It was just like within us, like we trade back and forth, and like that's totally good and everything too for us, like legal.
I would have never thought that.
So like when the CIA says no, we are not spying on you, they're probably most likely telling the truth.
Yeah.
But we're
Canada's spying on you,
like,
and we're taking that information.
Yeah, we're just trading ours from them to them.
Yeah, but Snowden proved that they were spying on us.
Yeah, like I'm just saying.
And he is still not allowed back.
Yeah, I don't get. I've never like he just went away too. Like that should be more of a current thing still.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of shit that should still be current. Epstein's thing.
I was about to say
her documents came out a month ago, 2 months ago, and nothing.
By the time Kim Jong-un was dead for a minute.
Yeah, for that weekend. That is more.
So many things happened.
That thing was. I heard that thing was a ploy by him to
Kim Jong.
Yeah, by him to weed out dissent in his ranks. Yeah. Like everybody, you think he's who's going to be the gunning for his position, like who's secretly against him kind of cabal. Good way to flush him out and then just, okay, you guys pop.
I could see that, yeah.
I mean, that's a smart plan. If I was a dictator and I wanted to maintain control and sort out dissent, that's not a dumb move.
No. Yeah, Yep, you just gotta fake your own death and see who comes up and say, this is my country and we're doing this now.
Yeah, but you got to tell some people that you trust, because if you say you're dead and you're not dead, and then the people that you couldn't trust find out you're not dead and they just off you, everybody thinks you're dead anyway. Yeah, you'd have to trust the people.
There.
Guess we're good now.
Well, that was stupid. You didn't have to go to the newsroom before you got here.
You should have recorded something. Maybe turn on your smartphone.
I'm done for you. Do you even live feed in here?
You got a Huawei phone or anything like that? Twitter?
Yeah, so, there's a lot of controversy back and forth. I knew that was a big one, too.
Yeah, so there's Epstein, there was Kim Jong-un. I want to say, wasn't there another one that just happened in February? I'm trying to play 2021 bingo, because you said this is going to be the
There's
same.
always more. I was trying to think, like the coup, or like the...
The coup was in 2020.
Yeah.
I know there's something big to happen. There's so much. The last year.
All riots and shit.
Yeah, that was in January.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be, today's the 5th. No, tomorrow's the 5th. There's a conspiracy that there's going to be another insurrection riot thing on the 5th. I don't remember where. I think it was like some national address or something. But it's supposed to be tomorrow, so check out your Reddit conspiracy page and see if you can find anything good on that tomorrow. Keep yourself entertained in the weekend.
It's just called riot, called Apophis.
Yeah, call the riot. Yeah, cool. All right, man, I'm good. You good?
I guess.
All
I
right.
had like 50 more things. But we're cool.
Oh, no, 50
No,
more.
no,
Let's go.
no,
I'll start
I'm
us
kidding,
out.
I'm kidding.
Number 1. Why is the sky blue?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. There might have been a few. Smoking requirements and masks.
Yeah, they lift that, didn't they?
Yeah, the mask mandates too in Iowa. But that was my deal too. It's like I feel like it shouldn't be up to the business owners if they're gonna do that. Because
Yeah, you had a good point. I remember this. Go ahead.
okay, so like my point with that is like I totally agree with it because I fucking hate masks. I'm like, just be done with them. But the mandates were just kind of done. I wish this would happen. I'm hopeful and everything too.
Can I
And
get
then,
that extra?
yeah. And some people were like, maybe it should just be up to the business owners to who should wear the masks and not. And immediately I was like, yeah, I see your point, but at the same time you're going out this at a health aspect, but like you can't do this because you're gonna infect other people or inflict harm on yourself. So why can't that be up to business owners to say, well, why can't I allow smoking though? It's the same thing.
Yeah, if you're going to leave it up to businesses to decide if you can wear masks.
You should be able
should be able
to if you want to smoke or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if it's for your safety and we can actually determine that smoking has killed millions, even secondhand smoke, but
if you have a business saying at my bar you can smoke, that's fine. If you don't want to smoke at this bar, there's a bar down the road that probably doesn't allow it.
my question, I guess, would be, will they be charging businesses a fine?
There'd be a tax maybe.
Yeah, is there like a tax to determine you don't have to wear a mask in my business? Because if there is, I'm sure there is, because you can smoke in Prairie Meadows, like, and I'm sure it's because they pay a tax of some kind to allow it. So I'm sure that can be arranged. Like if you're a casino and I bet the casino won't require or will require masks. I bet there'll be a section that won't.
See, I don't think anybody would like raise their prices just to say, hey, we're going to bump everything up 50 cents just because we're going to pay this tax, though. I don't think people would do that.
I like to say they wouldn't, but greed.
But now, like, if you're a bar and they're talking about smoking and they're like, hey, we're going to go from $3.50 to $3.75 for a beer, and now we can smoke in the bar, there people will be like, yeah, I'd go for that.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. There was another one you had. Oh no, the gun thing in Iowa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no longer. They're working. It passed in the House, I think.
Yeah, is a bill sent to the House? I don't know if it passed or not.
I thought I read something today that it passed where Iowa would no longer require you to have a permit to carry a weapon.
Or purchase. You don't need.
Yeah, you could just buy one
and carry.
and carry it.
That's the way it should be. The way of the West there. You got one, I got one. We both know we got one, so.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with guns. I just wish they were like longer and sharper and didn't shoot things. I feel like swords would be better. Because a gun, you can kind of be a bitch and talk shit from 50 yards away and then just start popping rounds. But if you have to get within 3 feet and are knife fighting with a giant 5-foot sword, you're not going to be an asshole and talk a bunch of shit because you have to get close.
I don't know. I guess that was always a joke how the arrow got started. Like, man, I really want to stab that guy over there.
All right, I think we're good. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll check you next week.